What's going on, Doe fam? Back with another video. Hope you guys have been doing well. For today's video, going to go through the charts for Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as for Toshi. When it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin has actually made that marginal higher low like we were saying yesterday. Let's see if it holds. Ideally, what happens here is actually we break out and make new highs, because I really do think for August, we break out, make new all-time highs, and make really good progress into our 150k targets. As you guys can see, we're sort of consolidating right now. And really the inflection point is anywhere from pretty much today to the end of Friday. Let's see where we go, because ideally once we do break out of this, we'll probably reclaim that 116k key region. And I told you guys multiple times, when it comes to the 116k level, if we do break above exactly the 116.8k, if we get multiple daily closes above, I do really think that the correction is in, and more than likely we're going to have a massive impulse to the upside. Therefore, all-time highs for Ethereum, and all-time highs for our altcoins. But without further ado, I'm Dope Oxide. I make content on YouTube, X, and CoinMarketCap, so be sure to follow those pages, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First of all, for liquidations, we actually had a decent spike today, 50% over the previous day, because Monday was actually really quiet. And when it comes to the long-short ratio, we're actually having quite a bit of bears shorting the current levels. As you guys can see, we have a 4% differential, and I've told you guys multiple times, once you get past the 3% level, I do expect an inflection point to come probably within the next 48 hours. And as you guys can see, because it's on the short side, I won't be surprised a short squeeze is to happen sometime this week, which will of course mean that Bitcoin breaks out and probably reclaims that 116k level. I've told you guys multiple times, like, look, if we do reclaim that, correction is confirmed to be in, and I'm expecting all-time highs for August. Next up is liquidation heat map. We actually have a bit of liquidations getting built up on both sides, but once again, majority of the liquidations are actually above us. And as you guys can see, we're actually having quite a bit of liquidations getting built up right above us, and the majority of liquidations are definitely around that 116k level. And I've already told you guys multiple times in this video alone, we're having so many liquidations getting built up around this 116k level, so it might just be the fuel to the fire to actually spike above and have those daily close above, because if we do have daily closes above that level, I do expect all-time highs to come for August. Next up is for Ethereum. Pretty much same thing as yesterday. We're having a lot of liquidations getting built above us, and pretty much pain is to the upside. As you guys can see on the liquidation heat map for Ethereum, we have so many liquidations getting built up all the way up to the 4k level. So if I do see a Bitcoin squeeze to the upside, Ethereum will carry along. And as you guys can see, let me just zoom in as well. We're actually having a lot of liquidations getting built at that 3750 level. It's actually starting to show yellow, which means there's a lot of liquidations there. And we're probably going to see a massive short squeeze spike once that happens. And pretty exciting times, because if we do see those spikes up to the price, obviously that will mean our base native token assets like Toshi, etc. will pump to the upside, because Ethereum is pumping. Next up is Ethereum to Bitcoin chart ratio. I told you guys yesterday we were retesting the upper bounds of the accumulation range, and until we see a confirmed close above, I do expect for it to reject, and we just got that today. It's pretty much just boring sideways for me. And the most ideal scenario would actually have a deviation below the accumulation range and then a spike back up to the upside like I've pretty much drawn here, because that would just pretty much mess up both sides of trading, the longs and the shorters, bears and bulls. So let's see where we go with that. But once we get confirmation and multiple daily closes, if not weekly closes, above any side of this range, I do expect continuation to occur from that side, and all else is noise, because obviously when it comes within this accumulation range, more than likely, in my opinion, it will end up targeting to the upside, just because we're on a massive inverse parabolic channel. I've showed you guys multiple times, and really when parabolic lines break, they always break down to the downside, and this is actually the inverse of that, so we can assume that we're probably going to break out to the upside. And my bull target has always been, the minimum target is the 0.04 level. We might hit the 0.05. That is technically the target of this parabolic channel, but I don't want to get too bullish. Let's see where we go, because the 0.05 level is technically, what is it? It's technically about a 57% gain from here. So if we assume Bitcoin stays the same price, a 57% gain on Ethereum is, what is it? Is it about 7k? It's about 5.7k, but of course Bitcoin is most likely going to be probably 140k plus by then. So we can probably assume that Ethereum will probably hit around the $7,000 level, assuming the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart actually gets tagged. Next up is Bitcoin. really on the lower time frames, we're actually consolidating and on a small little downtrend here. And the confirmation really is to have multiple daily closes above this. And right now, we've actually tested as resistance 4 times. We had that resistance point here, 1, 2, 3, and now 4. And under the 5-way tag rule, more than likely, if we do touch it again on the 5th go, we're probably going to break out to the upside and have a massive impulse up there. And that will probably result in a daily close above the 116k level, which is what I'm waiting for. Next up is Ethereum. A previous session on Ethereum actually saw us go on a little downtrend, but it's looking like we're spiking up on lower time frames. Let's see where we go about that. But really, we just have to wait and see where Bitcoin goes. And if Bitcoin does get that 116k reclaim, I really do think that Ethereum will sprout some life, and that Ethereum to Bitcoin accumulation range does break out to the upside, which will of course mean our base set of token assets will go absolutely explosive. And when it comes to Toshi, lower time frames for Toshi, we're just consolidating really. Of course, Binance Alpha actually listed Toshi back here around the 1st of August on Friday. And we saw a lot of sellers coming in because over $1 million of Toshi actually got airdropped. So I believe it was about 40,000 wallets. So of course there was a lot of suppression in the price, a lot of distribution, but we actually got out of it. Sellers got exhausted. We pumped up to the upside, and now we're just consolidating and resetting our RSIs and momentum. As you guys can see, the 4-hour momentum is actually resetting really nicely in a bull flag formation. And generally, if we do see a close above this, we're probably going to expect continuation to occur, which would also mean Toshi breaks out to the upside. And just as important as the Bitcoin 116k reclaim is, if we get that same reclaim on Toshi at the 0.00065 level, I do expect all-time highs to occur, and Toshi will be at least well on its way to make a new higher high, which is of course around the 0.001 level just over here. So I do expect a massive move to occur just purely based on the cases that we had a little bit of distribution here, and really this would actually mean all of this below is a deviation, and we're actually going to break above and make all-time highs. And my assumption is really once we get that break above, I do expect a lot of catalysts to occur for base chain as well as Toshi in general, specifically around central exchange listings. Of course, Binance Alpha just listed Toshi, and I do expect Binance.com to eventually list Toshi. Looking at previous Binance Alpha tokens that actually got listed on Binance.com after, it took anywhere from 1 to 3 months for that to occur, so I will be watching closely to see where we go about that. But it's looking very exciting for Toshi because the chart is looking great, and really we're just waiting for that confirmation above 0.065 because that will mean it is go time for Toshi, and more than likely higher highs will be occurring for Toshi and new all-time highs. Of course, all-time high for Toshi was around the $1 billion range this year, so we have a lot of room to move. Of course, when it comes to taking profits, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion, so be sure to do your own research. I'm only relaying what I see to the charts to you guys. Next up is tweets, and first tweet by CryptoFi Hub: don't fight the force of gravity, full send Ethereum. So this backs my thesis that I do think Ethereum does make all-time highs this year, and as you guys can see, this is the inverse. So of course, down is up and up is down, and as you guys can see, massive trend line here. We're broken down, we're about to retest and break down and continue to the downside, as well as RSI. We're broken down, looking like we're retesting right now and probably going to continue to the downside, as well as for the MACD. If you guys see the MACD, and let me just open an image in a new tab to make it easier for you guys. If I zoom in here, as you guys can see, we're having a nice little crossover. So this means here, there is bearish continuation specifically on this chart, which of course mean since it's an inverse chart, Ethereum will actually continue to the upside. It's looking really good on the charts because this just means buyers are stepping in. There is seller exhaustion, and really the sky is the limit for Ethereum. Once Ethereum breaks all-time highs, I do expect an explosive move to happen. But basically anything above 4.1k means Ethereum is going to be moving really fast, because as you guys can see, when Ethereum got above the 4.1k level back in 2021, we had a really sharp move to the upside. So under the assumption the price action works the same, and to be honest, the volume profile would be really low here, we're probably going to have a fast, sweet move to all-time highs once 4.1k level is broken. Because really, in my opinion, the 4.1k resistance is actually stronger than all-time high. The 4.1k level has been tested so many times. As you guys can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now maybe the 6th time. So it's pretty clear to me 4.1k level as resistance is so much stronger than all-time high, and once 4.1k level gets broken, it just means Ethereum has so much strength and fuel to the fire to actually break out. And in my opinion, all-time highs would be cut like butter, and really Ethereum will be in easy mode once it breaks above 4.1k. Next tweet is by Psychedelic. Let me just go to the chart. So this is around the total, I believe is the total 2 charts. He's just showing how bullish the chart is on the higher time frames. Of course, this chart goes all the way back to 2021, and this is a massive cup and handle. So this is a textbook cup and handle, and generally the target really is actually the depth of the cup, which is absolutely massive. But disregarding that, because the target is like is actually humongous. It's at least a 3x from here. So disregarding that, and like really I don't want to keep everyone's hopes up like we can do a monster move like that. I'm actually just expecting at least all-time highs, maybe a 2x from here for the total 2 price at least. But nonetheless, when it comes to the MACD is actually trending up, and every time the MACD has trended up and coming from a recent downturn like we saw here, and as well as here, so about 3 times now, we have trended up for at least a few months. And especially on the price chart, once we get that close above the, I believe it's about the 1.5 trillion area, I do expect a massive impulse to occur, and total 2 will go well into price discovery, which will of course mean our base native token assets like Toshi will probably be on a monster move. And really, you guys don't want to miss this. If you guys are looking to accumulate, this is your best time, because we're in such a strong inflection point, and the inflection point is probably coming faster than you think, maybe even August. And next tweet is by Exit Pump. So just an update on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we have really large bids all the way down to 110k on finance futures order book. Aggregator order book depth has positive delta as well. But nonetheless, when it comes to the marginal high or low, I was telling you guys, it's looking like the bottom actually might be in. As you guys can see, back on third when we made that low, there wasn't that many bids compared to what we see now. As you guys can see, we have so many bids scattered from 112 all the way down to 110, whereas really only the bids will scatter from 111 to 110. So we have a lot more bids than usual, and I really do think these bids are covering the late longers, and I do think they actually get protected, which would obviously mean that Bitcoin makes new highs from here and has a new impulse to the upside. But that's all to the video, guys. I hope you guys liked the video and my updates around the charts, but it's looking quite bullish for the month of August. If you guys liked the video, like and subscribe. Have a good one. Have a good day. Peace.